Hi, church family. Our Bible reading today finds us in 1 Samuel chapter 3, and it's a really good story. You probably know it, but I really need Carter to help me tell the story. Carter!
Here I am.
Good. So it's funny. So you probably heard this story. You know, in chapter 2 that we read yesterday, Samuel's parents gave him to the Lord's service. And in chapter 3, that's where we find the Lord calling Samuel. And one of our favorite parts of this chapter is found in verse 3, where we find Eli and Samuel almost asleep. And then, Carter, what happens in verse 4?
The Lord called Samuel, and Samuel said, "Here I am."
That's right. But Eli said, "I didn't call you, Samuel. Go back to bed." But then what happened again in verse 6?
Again, the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up, went to Eli, and said, "Here I am, you called me."
Yeah, it actually took 3 times for Eli to realize it was actually God calling Samuel. You know, what I noticed about this, Carter, was that even though Samuel didn't realize it was the Lord calling him, he still answered the right way. He said, "Here I am." It made me remember other times in the Bible where people answered God the right way. In Genesis 22, when God spoke to Abraham, he replied,
"Here I am."
That's right. In Genesis 46, God was ready to do great things through Jacob. When God called, Jacob answered, "Here I am." In Exodus 3, it was God speaking to Moses through the burning bush. And when Moses heard God speak, he said,
"Here I am."
That's right. In Isaiah 6, Isaiah heard the voice of God saying, "Whom shall I send?" And Isaiah answered, "Here I am, send me." In Acts 9, it was God who was ready to do great things through Paul. But first, Ananias had to answer God's call to restore Paul's sight. When God called, even though he was afraid, Ananias answered God, "Here I am." You know, sometimes we try to make answering God's call a lot harder than it is. We think we have to follow a bunch of steps or do a lot of praying or even ask our friends to pray with us about what God may be asking of us. But really, all he needs us to do is say, "Here I am," and then follow his commands. So I pray that that's how each of us answers God today, and I pray that he adds his understanding to his word as you read it today. Have a great day.